was simply old and didn't visibly age further, like grey-haired grandparents to a young child. Of course, the one thing in this room that has changed beyond all recognition is me. We humans complete the vast majority of our physical and mental evolution during our first few years on planet Earth, baby to full-grown adult within the blink of an eye. After that, outwardly at least, we spend the rest of our lives looking more or less the same, simply becoming saggier and less attractive versions of our younger selves as genes and gravity do their worst. As for the emotional and intellectual side of things, well, I have to believe there are some bonuses to make up for the slow decline of our outer packaging. And being back here at Pandora shows me clearly that there are. As I walk back into the hall, I chuckle at the Alex I used to be. And cringe at my former self, 13 years old and, in retrospect, a self-absorbed right royal pain in the backside. I open the door to the broom cupboard, my affectionate term for the room I inhabited during that long hot summer 10 years ago. Reaching for the light, I realise I was not underestimating its miniature size and, if anything, the space seems to have shrunk further. All 6'1" of me now steps inside, and I wonder if I close the door and lay down whether my feet would need to hang out of the tiny window, rather like Alice in her Wonderland. I look up at the shelves on either side of this claustrophobic corridor and see that the books I painstakingly arranged into alphabetical order are still there. Instinctively, I pull one down, Rudyard Kipling's Rewards and Fairies, and leaf through it to find the famous poem the book contains. Reading through the lines of If, the words of wisdom written from a father to a son, I find tears welling in my eyes for the adolescent boy I was then, so desperate to find a father. And then, having found him, realising I had one already. As I return Rudyard to his place on the shelf, I spot a small hardback book beside it. I realise it's the diary my mother gave me for Christmas a few months before I came to Pandora for the first time. Every day for 7 months, I wrote in it assiduously and, knowing me then, pompously. Like all teenagers, I believed my ideas and feelings were unique and groundbreaking, thoughts never had by another human being before me. I shake my head sadly and sigh like an old man at my naivety. I left the diary behind when we went home to England after that long summer at Pandora. And here it is, 10 years on, sitting once more in the palms of my now far larger hands. A memoir of the last few months of myself as a child before life dragged me into adulthood. Taking the diary with me, I leave the room and go upstairs. As I wander the dim, airless corridor, unsure in exactly which bedroom I want to plant myself during my stay here, I take a deep breath and head towards her room. With all the courage I possess, I open the door. Perhaps it is my imagination. After 10 years of absence, I guess it must be. But I'm convinced my senses are assailed by the smell of that perfume she once wore. Closing the door again firmly, not yet able to deal with the Pandora's box of memories that would fly out of any of these bedrooms, I retreat back downstairs. I see night has fallen, and it's pitch black outside. I check my watch, add 2 hours for the time difference, and realise it's almost 9 in the evening here. My empty stomach is growling for food. I unpack the car and stow the supplies I picked up from the shop in the local village in the pantry, then take some bread, feta cheese, and a very warm beer out onto the terrace. Sitting there in the silence, with only the odd sleepy cicada to interrupt its purity, I sip the beer, wondering if it was really a good idea to arrive a day earlier than the others. Navel-gazing is something I have a double first in, after all, to the point where someone has recently offered me a job doing it professionally. This thought, at least, makes me chuckle. To take my mind off the situation, I open my diary and read the inscription on the first page. Darling Alex, Happy Christmas. Try and keep this regularly. It might be interesting to read when you're older. All my love, M. Well, Mum, let's hope you're right. I smile wanly as I skip through the pages of self-important prose and arrive at the beginning of July. And by the light of the one dim bulb that hangs above me in the pagoda, I begin to read.